Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Radio. I'm here this morning with Myke Predko, who is the creator of the Jade Robot. And I'm so excited to be speaking with Myke this morning and to have him present to us the work that he's doing with the Jade Robot. But just to give you a brief introduction to Myke, Myke is an accomplished professional with more than 20 years experience in a variety of development, engineering, manufacturing, management, and technical marketing positions that have resulted in successful and award-winning products, some including even the Logitech Harmony One, which is a universal remote control. Myke has been recognized for creating leading superior hardware and software teams and providing employee personal and professional development, along with excellent cross-functional team support. So he has demonstrated a great track record in all sorts of business management, but mostly across technical. And it's brought him over the years to create and found his company, Mimetics, where he's the technical co-founder and the creator, as I mentioned, of the Jade Robot. And Jade Robot is really special because it can help make your kids, girls especially, want to pursue a career in math and sciences. So I'm really excited to have Myke here with me today. Welcome, Myke.
Hi, Debbie. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much. So tell us about your company, Mimetics, and the Jade Robot.
So Mimetics was founded after spending 10 years doing volunteer work, bringing robotics and science and technical education to students over the years. After we started in 2001, after 10 years, we had worked with over 12,000 students, and we decided that it was time to take what we had learned and create our own robot, which we came up with. It's called the Jade Robot. It's, we'll just talk a bit about it right
Hold it
now.
up a little bit higher so I can see.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite small. It's a lot smaller than I thought.
It's about 6 inches by 6 inches and about 2 inches high. It is a tracked, you can call it a tracked differential robot, which means it's like a tank or a bulldozer, can go just about anywhere. And some of the things that make it special are the display and actually user interface on it. This is probably the only robot in the world that you can program it on the robot itself as opposed to requiring a PC. You can use a PC for it, but you can program it from the robot itself, and that's something that really helps make it attractive to kids and interest them in kind of working with this if it's something they can just work with right from the start by pressing a few buttons. When we talk about the robotics, robotics is something that's coming into classrooms in a big way right now, and it's part of the evolution of technology. About 30 years ago, I guess, is when we first started bringing computers into classrooms, and that was being brought in by teachers who were technical and interested in doing that, and they started off with some very basic programming and applications on there. This became more formalized, and we started talking about digital literacy, using applications, as well as online safety. Now we're moving up to the next level, is where we're working with kids to have them start to develop their own applications. And one of the things that that's being found is that robots are an excellent tool for getting kids interested in seeing how programming is done. And the Jade Robot was really kind of designed from a number of different robots we'd worked with over that time. As if you look at our website, you can kind of see the evolution. The Jade Robot's actually 11th in a series of robots that we've worked with over the years. And with that is when we put the display on there for programming it, we have all the sensors built on it so that it's ready to go right out of the box. There's no assembly. and kids can work with it very quickly and start creating their own applications and trying out things, just working with it right from the start. So with that is, I guess, when you look at the robot there, it's different from a lot of the other robots that you'll see that the kids are working with, is that we don't have a fancy plastic cover on it. And one of the things that we discovered when we were working with teachers saying that we're starting this company, we want to create a robot, they said that they wanted to have a robot where the kids could literally touch and feel technology. Is that when something's covered in plastic or glass or metal, like a PC, like a smartphone, a tablet, it actually scares the kids because they feel like the technology in there is almost like magic, and it's something that they can't learn, they can't work with. So you want to bring the technology to a level, again, as I said, is that they can literally touch and feel. And the robot is tangible. As I talked about with the sensors, it has all aspect object and light sensors, which means it can see all the way around. It's not something you just see in front in a very limited field of view. What's also very interesting about the robot is the spectrometer that's built into the robot here. We have a certain history with the Challenger Learning Centers as well as NASA, and working with them, they want to have something that their students, and really all students, can get some of the ideas of the challenges that NASA has with something like the Curiosity rover on Mars. And with putting the spectrometer on here, again, I'm just doing it on the tabletop here. I've just done a spectrometer reading of the tabletop. I can do my shirt, and you'll see that the readings change, the waveform changes, and as we're working through that, students can identify different materials and as well as programming the robot to go somewhere, do a spectrometer reading, and then they can see it just the same way something like Curiosity is doing on Mars to discover what is Mars made of, is there water on there, and really look for those kind of things.
That's fascinating. How long, how many hours of playtime with the Jade Robot in either a classroom experience or at home would you say it would take a kid to get into it and sort of start to develop that passion for using it more?
We find it can take about 30 seconds. So one of the things that when somebody says, and we're talking to somebody and they're saying, oh, I don't know if I can ever learn it to program a computer, and this is adults or kids, I can say, have you got 30 seconds? And that is because when we talk about programming is creating a sequence of instructions. And at the most basic level on the robot here, I've got 4 instructions, forward, backwards, left, and right, that I can program in the robot here, put a little program here, and there it is there, and start it. I've just created my own program for the robot and working with that. So if you're saying when can that start, is when we are with students, we're with parents, we kind of start doing with that. We see them on the floor again within 30 seconds. And they're trying it out. They're seeing how it works, and then going on to the built-in applications, as well as there's some more sophisticated programming interfaces on the robot itself that use the sensors, and they can really start working with it right there. So when I say 30 seconds, I'm really not exaggerating.
That's fantastic. So tell us just a little bit more about how because I know that you created and have the Jade Robot available for people to purchase, but you also execute and implement on training programs in classroom. And do you have sort of a format for that, or is it based on, negotiating with the school or the family independently?
Yes.
Perfect. Tell us about that.
We do have programs that are available that can be found on the website. We're based in Toronto, so right now the programs that we're starting with are based in the Toronto area. Or based on the education requirements of on the Ontario Ministry of Education guidelines. So if we're starting in grade 6, and this goes back to what I was saying about simulating the Curiosity rover, is we work with one of the parts of the grade 6 science curriculum called Earth and Space Science, where we're working with the Jade Robot to help explain different concepts in terms of space travel, the hardware sent into space, what they're looking for, with ultimately coming up to a project at the end where they use the Jade Robot to simulate a space, like a rover like Curiosity on Mars, and look for, and autonomously look for water on the surface of a planet or an asteroid or a moon. And working through that, the students will start off at the very basic level, like I just showed you there with the programming, graduate to understanding the sensors and what these sensors mean, including the spectrometer. The spectrometer is tuned for oxygen, hydrogen, for looking for ways of sustaining life, as well as oxygen and hydrogen are also rocket fuel. And then for building structures on another world, it's looking for copper, titanium, and iron. So with that, we're getting a start to the piece there. And with this simulated mission that is the culminative project in grade 6, the students are creating the robot that it will look for water that we've set out, as well as avoiding obstacles because we don't want to damage our rover on another planet because we can't come and fix it. Going with that, we're working with grade 8, and that is talking about how mechanical, electrical, and computerized control systems all interact to form a complex system like a robot here. And in that program here, we're going to work through it. We're going to do programming, and from that programming develop, usually we'll have different challenges for the students. One of the ones we were doing actually just yesterday was escaping from a maze, using the sensors is to navigate a maze and to get out of it. And it's a lot of fun with the kids, because part of this is they will time each other, see who is faster, see who is who has different approaches, and being able to work together collaboratively on that. So when we talk about what we kind of work towards is with our programs is being cross-curricular. And that means that, as well as, we're talking about robotics, but we have a very strong science component. As we talked about that, we work with math. When we're doing this, we want to focus on a student's ability to do research, to present their ideas from English there. We talk about some of the soft skills. So what we really focus on is teamwork and collaboration, project management, problem solving, and debugging, which are all very important. And in terms of other things that the students have a lot of fun with is actually doing art with the robot, is putting a pen on the robot and drawing pictures. If you look at the videos on our website, you'll see a lot of the things that students are doing. And in doing that, there's actually a lot of work going right back to, say, math and understanding different features on that, because using the robot, you've essentially got a spirograph that you can program yourself. So it turns into a lot of the pieces there. We have programs that reach over 6 hours for a full day. We also do 3 hours and 2 and 3 hour programs where we introduce the robot and programming that we have a lot of fun with, and we know the participants have a lot of fun with, because we do surveys to see what they like about it and what they want us to do better on.
Fantastic. And I'm sure that you could do like a lunch and learn for educational groups, like groups of teachers and things like that, to introduce them to the programs.
Yes, that's correct. And we're just starting to get into that now, is where the teachers are seeing what their students are getting out of it, and they want to bring it to more classrooms as well.
Awesome. Did you talk about the percentages and the statistics? I know that you had some really compelling information that you told me before we got onto the interview. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So when students in middle school, and this is one of the reasons why that we are kind of targeting middle schools, are surveyed on their interest in math and science, we find that there's a 17% interest in pursuing math and science at the high school level. And that works out to, and if we break it down a bit more, that's 26% for boys and 9% for girls. It's very poor. Now, one of the things that when we were kind of working through here and doing research that was very fascinating to us was, for our modern society, 40% of the workforce requires advanced math and science at the high school level. And that's one of the things that we want to change there is right now we're seeing much less than 40%, and again, it's probably about 20%. But after they've worked through our programs, we're seeing the interest in science and technology jumping to 62% for girls, or sorry, 62% for boys and 63% for girls. In two classes I worked with back in the spring, we had 48 girls, only 25% of which were going to be taking advanced math and science. Originally were enrolled for that for grade 9. After we did the program, that was changed to 100%. All 48 girls were taking, or are now taking, advanced math and science in high school. So that was something that was very exciting for us. We also we survey really anybody we can who's worked through the program. We typically see, if we're talking about a scale of 1 to 5 of, would you recommend our program? In the past 6 or 7 that we've been doing over the last few weeks, that number on average has been 4.9. We've got a very exciting program for the kids in that. And we're also getting some, and sorry, I was going to say is, and part of the thing that we've been working towards is we are working with a Lean Six Sigma model, is when we really do use the survey results and are working to continually improve the product, improve our software, improve the materials that we're providing to the schools. And we get some great personal feedback and anecdotes. It was like one of the things that I got about a year ago. I was at a startup conference, and a woman sat down beside me, and she kind of looked at me and says, "You don't remember me, but you're the reason for what my daughter has become." And I'm a little startled. I'm looking like, is the police going to be showing up after that? And she said that, they did one of our workshops, and this was a 2-hour workshop at a science museum. And her daughter was so kind of excited and changed her attitudes towards science and technology that instead of, looking towards a career in business, she's now enrolled in engineering at the University of Toronto. So that was something that made me feel really good, making me feel like we're really making a difference. Okay. I can't hear you. Can you put up your finger to say you can hear me? Okay.
Got it. I had muted myself a few minutes ago when I was clearing my throat, and I forgot that I had the mute button on. So thank you for letting me know. I was like, wait, something's bonging at me over there. It was your message. Thank you for letting me know.
No trouble. It could be. That can be edited out later.
Yeah. Or not. That's the beauty of radio, listeners. Things happen with technology. At least we get to bring the stories to you, and I think that that's the important thing, is that you're able to share the difference that you're really making in the lives of your users. And I think it's so powerful and so important and such important work. So let's talk about where you are right now. Like, I know that you've got some stuff upcoming. So let's talk about what you're looking to do and where you're looking to go, and how listeners can get involved with what you're doing if it's something that's interesting to them.
Okay, well, right now we're spending a lot of time in schools, libraries, and maker organizations, we've had kids in varying situations, they kind of mentioned there, and we're looking at continuing that. We have Robots Rule at the Ontario Science Centre next weekend that we'll be presenting at. That will be October 24th and 25th for people in Toronto who are willing to make the trip up here. We'd love to meet with you. And we're looking to expand. So right now we're doing a lot of work in the Greater Toronto area. We're looking for teachers, maker groups who are interested in bringing the Jade Robot into their organizations, or bringing the Jade Robot as well as us into their organizations, so that we can work with you and see what we can do to help change the lives of kids throughout North America. So, maybe start by looking at the Jade Robot from our website. It's available for sale there. Please contact me through email. Debbie, I believe, will be putting up the website and the email address.
Yeah.
And I guess the important thing is, maybe tell me what you would be interested in seeing from us, and what you'd like to do with the Jade Robot, and what you'd like to do with us.
Yeah, and just before we sign off, we did talk a little bit that I'd like to have it talked about now, is the real application for the use of the Jade Robot. Now, you did mention briefly before that 40% of jobs in the job market require advanced math and science. Can you talk about how that is actually happening in the world in jobs today? Because there's some areas that it's really surprising.
Yeah, and it really is. So when we talk about this, I guess when people look at this and they say, well, robots, well, I'm not interested in becoming an engineer, or, using or developing my math to become a doctor or whatever.
Exactly.
And that's something that, and again, doing a bit of research when we were working through this really surprised me, is 40% of today's workforce requires advanced math and science, at least at the high school level, to function. And we're not just talking about, again, engineers, doctors, computer scientists, programmers. We're talking about people like mechanics, where cars have got an amazing amount of technology in it. Is when we're talking about the number of computers in cars, it's not unusual to have cars that have up to 100 computers in them. And that's really not an exaggeration. I saw something a few weeks ago saying that the average car has about 55 computers in them.
Wow.
It's just something that's really throughout there you have to understand. We talked about something like an electrician. Electrician isn't someone who's just dragging wires through walls anymore. They're part of the process of setting up network centers, server farms, helping working in buildings to make sure that all the wiring is in there. And there's a lot more than just like to say dragging some 14.2 wiring behind drywall. And then the other piece of that is cooking. Is my son is a chef, and he's very interested in molecular gastronomy. And he's now going back and taking high school courses in chemistry and biology so that he can understand, the cooking and the actual physical changes that are taking place. So getting students interested in science, technology, math is really critical for us to be able to go forward, as well as for their futures. And that's really where our passion lies, is changing kids' attitudes towards science and math so that they see it as something that they can be successful at, and recognizing that it's critical for their success in the future.
Fantastic. I have, one last question that I think might be on a few people's minds. It sounds to me like the Jade Robot and this program is probably pretty expensive. What's it priced at on your website these days?
What's priced on the website right now is it's available for sale at $299 Canadian. So it's a steal for U.S. customers right now. We also provide volume sales for different organizations. So if we're talking about a school, we will significantly reduce that price for a school. Or typically, we're looking at, and sorry, I guess that was one of the points I didn't put here at all, is we've designed the Jade Robot to be used by all students. When we look at our competition, we typically see that right now it's being used as an enrichment class or in a club, and it only affects a few students who wouldn't necessarily be interested in doing it in the first place. Our goal is for every student. So our product is priced and making the materials available so that it can be used by all students, presented by all teachers in all classrooms. So with that is, if you contact me, love to talk about volume pricing as well as getting the materials out to you to help you support and excite your kids in science, math, and technology.
I think that's so fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me this morning.
Thank you, Debbie. I had a lot of fun.
You're very welcome. So everyone who's listening, if you have kids, if they're at that young, tender age and you're trying to encourage them to get more interested in, taking responsibility for their lives and what they can achieve, I really encourage you to join, reach out to Myke and find out more about the Jade Robot. And
thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.